Hey guys, Brian here. So today's video I am going to install a new steering wheel into my 2018 Audi TTRS. The reason I'm doing this is I purchased a steering wheel from a 2019 TTRS, and the 2019s have a little bit of a different steering wheel. So physically they're the same, however it does have at the top the red marker at 12 o'clock. So this should be the same for the Audi RS3 as well as the Audi TTRS. And let's get started. So this is everything that's needed to swap the steering wheels on the TTRS. Here's the old steering wheel that I took out, the new steering wheel that's going in. We have a triple square 12, 6-inch extension, ratchet, very small tipped flathead screwdriver. This is actually just a cheap little Phillips head tool that I use behind the steering wheel. 10mm for the battery, and this is what I use to mark the hub of the steering wheel as well as the steering column. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the trunk. And we're going to disconnect the ground cable here so that way there is no power going to the car. When you have the car off, it allows the steering wheel to rotate without having to worry about it locking up. The locking mechanism is actually an electronic mechanism. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the steering wheel 90 degrees so this is facing up. I'll undo a clip, and I can actually show you on this wheel. So if you see that little hole, what it does is that little hole, there's a spring clip right there. So what you want to do is you want to take a little tiny tool or a little tiny pick, and you stick that little tiny pick in through here, and it actually will unclip that mechanism right there just by pulling down on it. Just like that. So I'm going to do that with both sides right now. So turn the steering wheel. There's the little hole right here. And you actually want to go in at an angle that'll allow you to get that clip. And pop it off. Just like that. So one side done. I'm going to try to do this in one take. We'll see how that works. Sometimes it's a little easier if you pull it out and adjust the steering wheel. As you can see, it's not always the easiest thing to do, but just like that. The airbag comes right out. So again, on the back of the steering wheel, you'll notice that there's a hole there and a hole there, very small hole. All you do is you take this and that pops it. Super easy to do. Okay, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the steering wheel and airbag off, and I'm actually going to show you how to disconnect everything outside of the car, so that way I have a little bit more room and a little bit better lighting to show you exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so this connects to the car, this yellow sensor with the red on it. So to get that out, what you do is you take a small flathead screwdriver and you pop that out that far. You don't want to pull it out any further than that. And then what you do is you squeeze on the top, and that allows that to pull out. And then there's two other connections you're going to need to undo to get this steering wheel undone. And the first one is you're going to undo the wiring from these two connectors. You're going to pull the wiring out, and you're going to get a very small flathead screwdriver, or you're going to take a pick, and you're going to push that connector out right there, just like that. And that allows you to pull it out. The second connector that you're going to undo is actually in the top of the steering wheel. And that connector right there has a very similar type of lock. So what you do is you push on into that little area right there, and that allows you to pull the wiring right out with it. And that leaves you with the airbag to put into the new steering wheel. Okay, now that the airbag is out, what we're going to do is we're going to take a triple square that is 12, and we're going to loosen this bolt on the steering wheel, and then we're good to go. It's that easy. Use the steering wheel for leverage when you're doing that. Notice it has a little bit of Loctite on it. I always put a little bit of blue Loctite back on it when I reinstall. One thing that you'll notice when removing the bolt is that there's actually a line on the steering wheel and a line on the hub. You want to make sure these are lined back up, and you want to make sure the steering wheel is dead center when you pull it off. And what this will make sure is that when you put the new steering wheel on, everything will be straight, and the steering wheel will not be sideways when you're driving straight down the road. I put a little bit of blue marker there. I'm not sure if you can see it or not. And what that allows me to do is if I take the steering wheel off, and that's all it does is it slides on and off now, you want to make sure that it lines back up correctly. So that's straight. That's one tooth difference, and you can see the steering wheel, how it's not straight. And that's one tooth difference the other way. So it's actually really easy, in my opinion, to make sure that it's lined up straight. And now we're going to reinstall the new steering wheel with the red marker on it. So to reinstall the airbag, what I do is I do the bottom one first. It's going to give us more room to work with. You want the metal tab facing out with the hole, and it slides right in, connects. Then what I do is I connect the top part, and the way that this goes in is there's actually two tabs at the bottom, two wider parts at the bottom of this, and that slides right up into the connector at the top. Clips right in. You're going to slide the wiring back into where it came from in the bag or in the wheel. Goes right back in. The last part you're going to do is the yellow connector at the top of the wheel. That clicks in, and then you push the red tab back in. That's how you know it's connected. And then all you do is push the airbag in, and it's that simple. And that is the completed steering wheel install guide for a 2018-2019 TTRS. That will also be the same thing for the 17 Audi RS3, 18, 19, and I'd imagine the 20 Audi RS3 are going to be the same thing. Hit that subscribe button if you're looking for more content about the Audi RS3 and TTRS.